Good morning. Today we're going to learn a little bit about two-point perspective. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is to work on copy paper because it's going to be easier than working in our sketchbook, and it's a little bit bigger than our project paper, and it's going to give us a really good way of practicing. We are going to extend our drawing area using this red strip, and we're going to go ahead and tape the red strip to the back of our copy paper in a couple of spots, and then flip it over, and you can see how it extends the drawing area. This is important because with two-point perspective, we have a left vanishing point and a right vanishing point, and this is going to allow us to create our vanishing points so that we have that wonderful 3D illusion on our paper. So we want to, hopefully you've taped this in the middle between top and bottom of your drawing paper, and way over here on the left-hand side, we're going to put a little dot right next to the outside of the red paper, and we're going to identify this as the LVP, also known as left vanishing point. Over here on the right hand side, we're going to give ourselves another little dot in the middle of our red paper all the way to the end so that it's almost off of the paper. And this is our RVP, which is our right vanishing point. So make sure that you write down RVP, right vanishing point, LVP, left vanishing point. Now we're going to start by making 3 boxes, and we're going to start with the box that's on the bottom. Using your pencil, I'm using an HB or PB pencil, and your ruler, all of your vertical lines are going to be straight up and down. So they will all be parallel to the edges of your paper. They won't be wonky at all. They're going to be nice and straight, parallel with the edge of the paper. So the bottom box, we're going to start by making the line that is the middle of the 2 sides of the bottom box. So we're going to take our ruler and position it in the middle of the paper and then shift it a little bit to the right. We're going to put this off center a little bit. We're going to draw a line from the bottom of our copy paper up to just underneath where the red extension is, just down a little ways. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this is the center line of our bottom box. Now from the center line of the bottom box, we're going to connect the top and the bottom to each of our left and right vanishing points. So you're drawing a line from the top of our first line all the way over to the left vanishing point, and it's super important that you extend it right to the point. So I found that if I line up my ruler with the top of the line, then sometimes my left end of my ruler is off of my vanishing point, and then when I line it up with my left vanishing point, then it's off of my line, and I can keep going back and forth like this so many times. So I figured out a little way that works really well for me whenever I'm using left and right vanishing points for two-point perspective. I put my pencil on the top of my line, and then I push my ruler up against that, and while I keep my ruler up against my pencil on the right side, then I rotate the rest of my ruler so that it connects over here with my vanishing point. So just double and triple check. All of these lines need to be right to the middle of the vanishing point, or it's not going to look quite right. So I'm drawing a line from the top of my line all the way to my left vanishing point. I'm then going to change my ruler position so that it connects the bottom of my corner line with my ruler up to my vanishing point, and again, I'm going to make sure that it's right on the left vanishing point and right on the bottom of my corner line. And I'm drawing that up. I'm going to skip over my desk because I don't really want to draw on my desk. Make sure it goes all the way to the left vanishing point. And then I'm doing the same thing with my right vanishing point. Taking my ruler, putting my pencil up at the top of my corner line, pushing that ruler up against my pencil, and then, oopsie, and then rotating my ruler so that it lands right on my right vanishing point. And once I have that in place, I'm going to draw that line. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. Put my ruler so that it pushes up against my corner line. Rotate my ruler out so that my line is extending to my right vanishing point. And draw that bottom line. Since I don't want to draw my desk, picking it up and extending it so that it goes right to my vanishing point. Now you should be able to see that this is a right and left side of a box. However, our sides right now continue off into forever. So we want to stop the sides of our box so that it's just on our paper. So we're going to take our ruler. We're going to align the edge of the ruler with the edge of our paper. It doesn't always have to be like that. It's just kind of convenient for us now. By using the ruler and aligning it with the right side of the paper, making sure that it's parallel, then it'll be easy for us to make a line here. And this becomes the right side of our box. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, moving our ruler over to the left side of our paper, aligning it so it is nice and parallel. In this case, it's right against the paper. And then using the right side of the ruler and making a line so that it extends to the left side of the box. Okay, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking this is a really weird box. It's not quite as big as I want. So I'm just gonna erase this line, and I'm going to shift it back here. So you can make adjustments to your lines so that your box is wider or more narrow. And again, just make sure that your ruler is parallel to the edge of your page. You want it to be perfectly vertical. So I'm going to come way over here. Okay, that looks like more of a box to me. I'm going to heavy up the lines that are the top and the bottom of my box. Okay, and I'm going to erase the extensions. This is actually just my my initial lines going to my vanishing point, so it's going in that direction. But erase the extra extension. And this is the right side and the left side of my box. Now, the part that we're missing is the top of the box, and I'm going to show you how to make that. Again, we're using our vanishing points. This time we're going to make a line from the top of the right hand edge all the way to our left vanishing point. Now you might look at, your situation might be very similar to mine in that my ruler isn't quite long enough to extend all the way to that vanishing point. So in this case, you might have to eyeball how the alignment of your ruler so that it goes right to the left vanishing point. And make a line. That looks pretty good. Now at the top of the left hand side, we're going to place our ruler and draw a line that goes from the top of the left line all the way to our right vanishing point. And now we have three sides that look three-dimensional. We have the right side of the box, the left side of the box, and the top of the box. We are going to go ahead and erase our construction lines that we no longer need. So that's the extra extension that's going to the vanishing point. We don't need that. Okay. So this box is very pretty, but it doesn't really look like a package unless it has a ribbon. So we're going to add a ribbon, and this ribbon is going to go around the box like this. So all you have to do is identify where along this line you want the ribbon to cross and go back. And so I'd say we're going to put it someplace in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can have a wide ribbon or a narrow ribbon. It's up to you. So put a couple of marks that are like halfway down and about the thickness of a ribbon. And then you're going to be using your left vanishing point. Extend that ribbon all the way back to the left on both the top and the bottom of the ribbon. And then all the way back to the right using those same points. Again, going back to the right vanishing point, make sure that you're on the right vanishing point. That's looking more like a present. So this is the first present. We're going to put another one on top. So for this next one that's on top, we are going to first draw the corner line that is closest to the viewer. So I'm going to pick a spot. It needs to be inside this top square, or I guess it's not really a square. What would this shape be from the top? I don't know. You know, maybe you know what that's called. A trapezoid, maybe? Now, is that a trapezoid? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just inside this shape, we're going to put a little line or a little dot. Definitely needs to be inside this shape so that it appears like the next box is on top of the first box. And then we're going to draw a line up from it that is maybe around the top of our red paper. Okay, like so. Now we're just repeating the same process. From the bottom and top of this line, we're extending lines to our left vanishing point. From the bottom as well, make sure that it's on the left vanishing point. And we're extending lines to our right vanishing point. Make sure that your ruler is right on the vanishing points. So now we have the front corner and the right side and the left side of our box, but the right side goes off to forever, and we want to keep our box stacked on the bottom box. So wherever this bottom line that's going to the vanishing point, wherever it crosses the back side of your first box, you need to come inside some little bit of distance and then make a vertical line. Make sure it's parallel to this edge of your page. And this is the right side of our box. And then over here, follow this line back towards your vanishing point. And where it crosses and leaves the top of your bottom box, back off of that so that the edge of your middle box is in fact sitting on top of your bottom box. Make this vertical, and then you can heavy up the lines. Again, make sure that you're on the vanishing point. Put my pencil up on my corner, top of my corner line. Heavy up the top line that delineates the right and left side. You can even go ahead and heavy up the line that delineates the bottom of the second box. And then we can erase our extra construction lines sure and not erase that. That's our bottom box there. Erase our construction lines. It's good to erase your construction lines as you go, just so that it doesn't get confusing. Like this right here is a construction line, so we're going to erase that. Okay, and then since the second box is sitting on top of the first, then these lines that delineate the top of the bottom box are actually going to disappear because they're hidden behind the second box. So we can go ahead and erase those construction lines. Okay, it's looking good, looking like a stack of presents. It'd be nice to add a bow to our second box, and this one, instead of going around the center, we're going to have it go up and over the sides. Super easy, and all you need to do is take your ruler and maybe start by giving ourselves some little lines. Where would that ribbon be? It would be in the center of both the right side and the left side. So maybe give ourselves a couple little marks, and then vertical lines that are parallel to the edge of the paper that go straight up. So now it's going around that box. And then on this side, the same thing. We're going to give ourselves little tick marks. You can just eyeball those, however wide your ribbon is, and then extend those. Make sure the ruler is nice and vertical, and the ribbons go straight up. Now it looks like it's wrapped in a ribbon. Now we're going to add one more box up here on top. And we're going to again start with the corner line. This time it's going to be a little bit more to the left. So we have the three corners stacked. And we're going to make a line that goes up about, oh, I don't know, give yourself a little bit of room up here. Maybe it's half the distance from the top of our box to the edge of our paper. We're going to make a bow on top of this stack of boxes, so we don't want it to be too tall. This is our corner line. Now we're going to use our vanishing points, put our pencil down, and extend our vanishing point, or extend our line all the way down to the left vanishing point and all the way down to the right vanishing point. Now, the bottom of the box is hidden by our second box. So we don't have to worry about making lines from the bottom of this. In fact, in reality, it would be down here someplace. So we don't have to worry about that. Now we're going to decide how far back this present goes. And we're going to make the right side stop someplace back here. And the left side stop, because right now it goes on forever, someplace here. Okay, we can heavy up our accurate lines, and then erase our construction lines. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put a bow on top of the top box. Now this, between you and me, this does not require construction. It kind of requires eyeballing, so you can kind of follow along if you want. I'm going to have a ribbon that comes off of this side and kind of curls around. So something like this. And a ribbon It kind of comes and curls around. It's coming off of the box top. Okay, so maybe the center of the bow is kind of in the just above our corner line. Something like that. And then the bow itself is a ribbon that comes up and wraps around. And the bottom of the bow kind of does that. And this kind of comes up and wraps around. And the bottom of the bow kind of does like that. So it's a nice big bow. We can extend the flat ribbon part up and over and erase the part of the box that the ribbon would be hiding. So that looks pretty good, and if your bow looks a little bit different, that's just fine too. Now, since we have some pencil lines, construction lines that were erased and so forth, we're going to use our thin and thick Sharpie and go over all of the lines with thin or thick Sharpie. My basic rule is that if it's a profile line or if it divides space, then we're going to use the thick Sharpie. And then the thin Sharpie is reserved for details or objects that are flat against another object. So I'm going to use my thick Sharpie and go over the profile lines of my ribbon. So that's any edge that's an outer edge. And the outer edge of my boxes, my presents. I might even give myself a little, profiles are so important. So where I hit the ribbon, I'm going to give myself a little bump up just so that it, oopsie. Okay, ignore that. Okay, we're just going to make that work. I thought I'd gotten to my ribbon, but I hadn't. Oopsie, doesn't matter. It's a little bit messy, but it's okay. We just make it work. We just make it work. I like thick and thin lines anyway, so I'm just gonna go with that. Yope, yope. Oh, I actually kind of like how this is turning out. Sometimes an oopsie makes a good mistake. Okay, my profile lines. Okay, this is what I meant to do when I get to my ribbon. Give myself just a little bump out. It makes the ribbon look like it's a little thicker than the present. I just, profile lines, you can really use the shape of that profile line to kind of delineate your object. Okay, so now, just for consistency, since I made my oopsie and then I had some thicker lines in here and whatnot, I might go ahead and do my little, maybe thicken up some of my corners. I just love how that looks. This is just my personal style, so if you like it, then you can use it. But I always think that the line of the marker, you know, it's just straight. It doesn't, it's uniform thickness. It doesn't have much character. So I personally really like to decide where my thick and thin lines are and give my lines just a little bit more character. Sometimes that happens by mistake. Okay, see, to me, that's just where interesting. Okay, And then my thin Sharpie is used for any line that is not the profile line, it's a detail, or it's designating where an object is flat against another object, so there's not space behind it. There's not volume to that object. Even do a little bit of a bump right here in order to delineate a difference that that ribbon is just a little bit of thickness. Now you can definitely use your ruler if you want these lines to be super straight. Totally fine. It's also fine if you want to have a sketchier version of it. Since this is a little awkward, I'm going to rotate my paper. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit here. See, I'm not quite sure how that went. That's okay. It just went something like that. Maybe I give my ribbon a little bit of tuck here where it got kind of like made into a bow. And you can decorate it with patterns if you want. But this is 2-point perspective, so go ahead and write 2-point perspective. Great job, guys.